LUMEN podcast. Of course, this is our 4th edition and privileged to again present nothing but trending issues, but most importantly at this particular time, we are going to discuss the grandeur of humanity in the age of AI, Magnifica, Humanitas, and this is the first encyclical that has been written by Pope Leo XIV. My name is Victor M. Kabonga with my co-host, none other than himself, the man,
Father
the
Arthur.
Good to see you, Father.
Good to see you too.
I love the outfit that you're wearing.
I wanted to feel cleric.
Cleric, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Not just to look cleric, but also
To
to feel cleric.
To feel cleric.
Especially that we are discussing an encyclical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as always, it's interesting with topics that are happening, but most importantly, I think the topic that we're about to discuss, especially the encyclical letter, it addresses a very pertinent issue, which is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Maybe just from a layman point of view, what is AI? What is artificial intelligence?
It is a brain, which is basically a machine. A brain that learns things from human beings in order to enrich itself with information, with the data, so that it is able to solve some of your problems as a human being.
Yes.
So it is basically artificial. That's why it is called artificial intelligence. It is basically artificial, and it is what it is. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go into the intricacies of artificial intelligence, but I think at this point, since artificial intelligence has been around for quite some time now, a lot of people know really what it is. But for our purposes here, I think it is enough to say it is a digital brain. A digital brain that learns from the activities of human beings online and gives back to humanity in an attempt, and underline the word attempt, because it doesn't solve all human problems, but in an attempt to solve problems or some of the problems that humanity is facing in the world today.
Thank you. Maybe we can just have a basis in terms of our discussion, the grandeur of humanity in the age of AI, Magnifica Humanitas.
Magnifica Humanitas.
Yes.
In fact, this encyclical is quite timely, especially from the church point of view. A lot of people have written moral literature on artificial intelligence, pro or against. There's a lot of literature out there. But from the church point of view, and with the church authority or church authority, this encyclical gives a moral guide.
Yes.
It gives an ethical guide.
Yes.
Not to say that the church is trying to say artificial intelligence is bad, or the Pope is saying artificial intelligence is evil, as some people have tried to understand, or is it to misunderstand this encyclical. I've been reading quite a lot about the critics, from different people, experts, and so on and so forth. And mostly what is coming is, why is the church saying this about artificial intelligence when actually artificial intelligence has come to save us, has come to solve a lot of our problems as humanity? But the church is not saying artificial intelligence is evil. In fact, we are using some of the elements of artificial intelligence in evangelization. So Magnifica Humanitas is not a document that is saying artificial intelligence is evil. But the Pope is basically saying we have to be cautious. Because if we are not cautious, this digital brain, artificial intelligence, is going to take over human brain. And therefore humanity, or a human person, and his or her dignity is going to be relegated to almost nothing, because artificial intelligence will have been doing almost everything for us. And so we have to be cautious. That's basically what the Pope is saying. When it comes to decision making, is again cautioning that you don't just let machines think on your behalf. Before all these machines came, there was already a human brain. A human being was already thinking. So we cannot say, since we have a digital brain, therefore we have to shelf a human brain. No, we are damaging ourselves if we do that. But can artificial intelligence and human intelligence coexist? Yes, they can coexist, but human intelligence should always override artificial intelligence. And this is basically an overview of what the Pope is saying in his encyclical. Yeah, but there's a background. I want us, before we get into some of the issues that the encyclical was talking about, I thought we could begin from the beginning, from somewhere. In 1891, Pope Leo the 13th, the one that has written this encyclical, is Pope Leo the 14th. Yeah. Now, since there was already Pope Leo the 13th,
Yes.
we could not have another Pope Leo the 13th. We could only have a Pope Leo the 14th. If we are going to have another Pope Leo tomorrow, it is going to be Pope Leo the 15th. That's how it works. So in 1891, just at the time of massive industrialization, Pope Leo the 13th that time decided to write a document, an encyclical called Rerum Novarum, which basically means the new things. So that encyclical became the foundation of the social teaching of the Catholic Church on so many things, especially on the dignity of a human person and human labor. It was timely at that time. It is still timely today, because we are still, the issues that were there then are still there today. Talk of exploitation in these companies, places of work. These things are still there. So when Pope Leo now the 14th decided to write an encyclical, what he wanted was to commemorate the 135th anniversary of that encyclical of 1891 by Pope Leo the 13th. And since this encyclical, Magnifica Humanitas, is a commemoration of that anniversary, Pope Leo now has decided to bring those issues that were in that encyclical called Rerum Novarum. He brings them into this encyclical and discusses them with a modern mind, putting in mind the modern context, the times that we're living in today. It talks about dignity of labor, dignity of human person, solidarity. It talks about the principle of subsidiarity, and so many other principles that are in that encyclical Rerum Novarum. But he wants to discuss all these principles, the social teaching of the Church, in terms of artificial intelligence. And what he's saying is, wherever you go, wherever you are, at a place of work, at church, at the market, wherever you are, a human person overrides everything else. The dignity of a human person should be protected, should be safeguarded, should not be relegated to nothing, because now there's a machine that is thinking on our behalf.
Yeah.
So he gives that caution. I thought we could give that background so that we understand where this encyclical is coming from and how it can help us in our times today and now, how it can be applicable to what is going on in our times today and now. So this is basically, I thought I could talk about I could talk about that. Yeah,
you've said something that is quite captivating, especially in the times that we're in. I think I was recently seeing a video last year and part of this year where most graduates actually will say, thank you very much to ChatGPT for helping me graduate.
Yeah.
But maybe if we go back in your time, maybe 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't so much access to the internet. At the time, it was the internet was a problem. Now there's AI. One actually questions the caliber of individuals that we are sending into society. If one can confidently say, thank you very much to ChatGPT for helping me graduate.
Yeah. We don't realize what artificial intelligence is doing to us. This thing, let me call it a thing.
Yes.
This thing is telling you as a human being that it's like your brain has an expiry date. Your brain as a human person has expired. Let me think on your behalf.
Yeah, on your behalf, yes.
You can't go beyond this line. Let me take over. And slowly we are becoming dependent on this thing, on this machine, on this digital brain. And that is where ethics will, come in. Do we like what we are becoming? Or should we stop and begin to think? Or we just say, okay, it's fine, whatever's going on, it's okay, we like it. But are we sure we are going to like what we're going to become tomorrow? So these are ethical questions that we have to ask ourselves as we use these tools.
Yes.
You know, the church is not averse to these tools.
Yes.
Actually, we priests are using artificial intelligence sometimes even to prepare our sermons, our homilies,
yes.
to prepare our reflections during days of recollection for lay groups. We go to AI and get a few ideas here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. But to what extent are you using artificial intelligence as a priest, as a student, as an employee, or as just a human being? To what extent? When you go to the hospital and you see, and I'm not saying this is what is happening, you see a medical person, a nurse or a doctor, consulting AI.
It may be happening, actually.
Well, I don't know.
Or assumably. We're just assuming.
That would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now, you are a patient and you see the doctor, before he gives you a prescription, he's asking AI, you should get worried as a patient, you know. I remember somebody telling me a few weeks ago saying, you see, do a test on AI. And there's a point where the Pope says AI will give you a decision that is away from human. That a decision that dehumanizes. That's where I'm coming from. So this person was saying, you see, it's okay to use AI to consult, even for a doctor to consult artificial intelligence. I mean, there's no problem, but there must be a limit. Imagine you go to an AI machine and you type the symptoms of what you are feeling. Okay, AI, this is what I'm feeling. What am I suffering from? And then the machine tells you, according to what you have told me,
yes,
the symptoms indicate that you are pregnant, but you are a man. You see? So artificial intelligence is just a machine. It does not have the capability to see that the person that is putting those details is a man and so cannot be pregnant.
Cannot be pregnant.
Yeah. And that is where, and a lot of such things are happening in many other areas. The machine is going to give you an answer or make a decision for you basing on what it is fed with.
It is fed with.
Basing on the data that it has. That is why it is even able to tell you that you are pregnant even when you are a man. Then you start arguing, how can I be pregnant? I'm a man. That's where you see that, in fact, AI is not absolute. AI is not, does not have answers to everything. There must be a line that we shouldn't cross as we use AI tools. And this is very important in the Encyclical. The Pope says there must be a limit to which we use AI. Otherwise, AI is going to make devastating decisions on your behalf. AI is going to dehumanize you without even you realizing it.
And as you are saying this, I love the aspect that the Encyclical addresses caution, and my mind was just gravitating towards, should be Mission Impossible 5.
Okay.
And already you can tell, like, Hollywood has been formation. I think I'm remembering the eagle eye of where this chip was holding the information, and you see all these now nuclear weapons from America, from Russia, and it's like this gadget became the epitome of human knowledge, you know. And one wonders, imagine having so much power in your hands, at your fingertip.
Yeah.
What is the consciousness behind the individuals behind AI, you know?
Exactly. There you can even question the morality of the developers of AI machines. What are they after? What do they really want to achieve at the end of the day? Of course, what they're giving us seems to be very helpful. Well, maybe not seems to be very helpful, but it is helpful.
Yes.
You know, if you think about it, AI is very helpful in many ways. But those who are developing these machines, the big tech companies, what exactly
is their aim?
Yeah. And who holds them accountable? The Pope in the Encyclical talks about accountability. Who holds them accountable? And even when they are developing these machines, who audits the activities as they are building an AI tool? Who is auditing that activity? And whoever is auditing that activity, what is their moral standing? Is he just another company that is interested in what is being developed, or is it an entity or a body like the church to give proper audit, to ask proper questions? Who is checking what is going on at the time that these things are being developed? How do we understand the mind of the developers? The Pope talks about the Tower of Babel. To say there's this small group from top up there that is deciding things for the rest of humanity. A big company up there is developing a platform that is made available to everybody, to the whole of humanity. But then who is holding that company up there accountable? What about the people themselves, the ordinary people? How do they participate in the development of these platforms? Of course, we are not going to say the tech companies should employ you or should employ me to be part of the building. No. There must be a way that you and I should participate in the building of this, so that there is first of all collective ownership, but also collective responsibility. But then if it is just something that appears on your phone, you don't even know who is behind it, where it came from, then there's an aspect of exploitation that has to be questioned there. And the Pope is saying proper audit has to be taken when all these activities are taking place, because we the ordinary people, the ordinary human beings, are being dehumanized. So there is need for decentralization. And there it talks about the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem. When you read the prophet Nehemiah, talks about the rebuilding. The Israelites are just coming out of exile. And so what do they need? They need a temple, because at the time that they were taken into exile, the temple was destroyed. But this is a very important component of their life. So when they come out of exile, they have to start afresh. So they need a temple where they can go and worship their God, but they also need a king, somebody to govern. Okay? Now, how do they go about the activity of rebuilding the temple? It is not the prophet Nehemiah that builds the temple. It's not the Pharisees. It's not a small group of people that builds. It is everybody. So there is collective ownership of the temple. Every family brings a brick. Every person brings some you bring a nail, that one brings a planga, one brings what. Yes. Everybody brings what they have. Yes. Yeah. So when the temple is finally rebuilt, there is collective ownership, such that should somebody come to try and demolish that temple, the whole village will rise. You don't know how we suffered to build this temple. But then if the temple is built by just a small group of people, the ownership is just centered on that small group of people. Now, the Pope relates this to the activity of building AI machines, that there must be collective ownership. And how do you ensure that there is collective ownership? You ensure that everybody takes a part. Not just inviting people at the time that you want your machine to be fed with data. Yes. There must, from the word go, there must be collective ownership, collective responsibility. There must be accountability from the word go, and everybody has to be part of it. Yes. Such that when finally this machine is built, when finally GPT is built, when finally Google Gemini is built, everybody's going to say, this is ours. Yes. We were part of it. Yes. And in fact, some of the elements that could have been dehumanizing humanity will not be there at all, because audit will have been done from the time that this platform, this machine has been built. Now, this is not to say that everybody should be employed to build an AI machine. This is not to say that everybody should physically be present when these. No. When you are building, if I have the capacity to build an AI machine, my interest should not be the AI machine. My interest is, how is this going to save the people and help people? Not just for me to build a platform so that I can get some money out of it. But the moral question is, how is this going to help people? What is the ethical context of what I'm building, and how is it going to be helpful? When those who build these platforms begin to ask themselves such questions, they challenge themselves. that is already an audit that they are doing on themselves. And at the end of the day, when they finally build this, it is going to be something that is not going to dehumanize humanity, but that is going to add value to what is already there,
Yes.
to humanity.
And I think this is like, there's a point you mentioned where AI should more or less coexist, and ethics as well, very important.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, at the expense of dehumanizing humanity, there's someone behind who is just making profits for their own selfish gain and interest. And I think this is where the consciousness of the church comes in. For me as a lay person, it's easy to use, and it's only now that you begin to think, like this tool that I'm using, the hours I'm spending on the internet, there's someone making a profit from there at the expense of, maybe lack of a better term, where someone's mind becomes just a vegetable state. I don't know if it's fair, but to an extent it's quite sad, when you begin to think about the dignity of humanity as well. Because what generation are we going to have, let's say 50 years from now?
Exactly.
Are we going to have individuals who will be able to think on their behalf? I would like you, Father, just to touch a bit on a more technical issue. What is a church speaking about when we speak of the myth of neutrality?
The myth of neutrality is a very important concept,
Yes.
and quite interesting. The Pope talks about the algorithms.
Okay. Now we kind of a TikTok tawishi.
But
now if you want me
yes, you enjoy those and you are laughing the whole night.
And you know what's interesting? I've been observing this. The more I speak, like I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine. Let's say I want to buy a gym supplement. You go on Facebook, you find everything is showing you gym supplements, where you can get them. You go on TikTok and you're like, so even
somebody was asking me, saying, Father, and there was a day when I was thinking about, I was just craving, I was thinking about pizza.
Yes.
Like, but pizza,
yes.
And then I open Facebook.
Pizza is there.
I find that verse of pizza. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because I didn't search for pizza.
But it just pops up.
I go to Facebook, I find my feeds.
So pizza.
Pizza what? Pizza this, pizza that, pizza. Let's not get into that. We don't know what is going on. But there's something that is going on that we may not realize today. When we talk about algorithms, the Pope is saying, it's not just the things that you type in the machine, such that it has a history of you, such that tomorrow, if you came back to the same platform, it will give you something similar to what you typed yesterday. It's not just that.
Yes.
It is also our interaction with gadgets, our interaction with the things that have an AI component. There's something that is going on that is stealing data from you, getting data from you, even without you knowing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that has to be questioned. And that's why the issue of auditing comes in. How is it that I'm thinking of pizza and immediately the platform knows and gives me adverts of pizza? That's just as an example. There's maybe what we can call is it a secret?
Yes.
There's some secrecy around the interaction of a human person and the machine, and that has to be decoded so that you and I know exactly what is going on beyond what I'm using. So when you talk about the myth of absolute neutrality, here we can also talk about the concepts of having more versus being more. Having more versus being more. Those who are developing machines are having more, and they're doing things that you may not even realize you as a user. They give you adverts of phones, of what, maybe because last week you typed iPhone somewhere, and then the next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks, all you are seeing is just adverts of iPhones. They want to have more, but they're not helping you to be more. The machine is supposed to help you to be more. Life cannot just be about having more and more and more and more. Of course, having more gives you satisfaction as a human person. Having more, if you are in business and when you have more and more, every business person wants to have more and more. But life cannot be defined just in terms of having more. The developers of AI machines are having more, but who is making them to have more? It is you, the user. But then as you continue to make them have more and more, they are not helping you to be in more, because you don't know what is going on behind the closed curtains, and that has to be questioned. It may sound mythical that we don't know what is going on and we are just suspicious. Well, you and I have an experience that there's actually something going on. Why should I see an advert of pizza simply because I thought about having pizza? There's something that is going on that you and I may not understand, may not know, because somebody has decided not to say it. Somebody has decided not, because if they tell you everything, they're afraid that you might stop going to those.
You know the truth. It's like Adam and Eve when they ate the apple, and then
you know the truth.
You know the truth. And
so it's better they keep you in the dark,
the dark.
Yeah, so that they can have more. But then, are they helping you to be more?
Not at all.
That's an ethical issue. In as much as I am helping the person that developed this machine to be more, that person should also help me to be more. It has to be reciprocal. It should not take away anything from my being human. It should not the machine should not tell me that my brain is not brainy enough to think. No, the machine should coexist with my brain. In fact, not even coexist. Yes. The Pope is saying the machine should be guided by the human brain.
The machine should be guided by the
human brain. Yeah. Because when you talk about coexistence, it's like you're saying
we are more or less equals.
Like we are equal, figure so. But the machine should be guided. After all, the machine was developed by a human brain.
Yes.
Why should the machine come and tell me, hey, let me think on your behalf? Then it is dehumanizing me. It is taking away something from my dignity as a human person. And so the grandeur of humanity should be preserved. The dignity of humanity should be preserved, even in the wake of AI.
Okay. Magnifica, Humanitas.
Magnifica, Humanitas.
And this maybe also brings us to the aspect of maybe the personal risks with regards to AI, especially in the times that we're in. I think we've labored on those that are in school. Of course, it has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
But to everything there's a risk, that is attached to it. And so what is the Encyclical letter trying to address with regards to this particular issue?
Yeah, so Pope Leo in this Encyclical talks about three concepts.
Yes.
We're talking about personal risks in our daily life,
yes,
or daily usage of AI. And he addresses basically three concepts that I would want to highlight.
Yes.
The first concept is cognitive reliance.
Cognitive reliance.
And this is what he says. The radical ease of generating rapid, ready-made answers can diminish personal creativity, slow down critical investigation, and weaken our independent judgment over time.
In short,
aliko kutontonkanya, that is the issue. Waliko kutontonkanya, bakwipusha, what is your name? You go to wafiro kulanda. You go to ask AI, what is my name? Bakwipusha baticha kusukulu 2 + 2 is what? Wafirwa wa kuli machine. 2 + 2 is what? Waliko kutontonkanya. It diminishes your capacity to think as a human person. So that has to be cautioned. If we rely so much on AI for everything, we are telling ourselves, in an impel, I can't think anymore. But is that true? Definitely it is not true. And when you tell yourself in an impeller, I can't think anymore, and you go to ask AI to give you an answer, whatever AI is going to say is the gospel truth. You will not have the capacity to critique AI. Whatever it is going to tell you, if it tells you you are pregnant, but you are a man, you will believe that, because you have told yourself, I can't think anymore. So this has to be critiqued, and it has to be critiqued by a human mind, because the human mind has the capacity to do that. AI does not have the capacity to critique itself. So the Pope cautions that, yes, as a risk, cognitive reliance. The second aspect is the false objectivity, what he calls the false objectivity. I'll read what he says. He says, an algorithm's clean presentation can mask underlying bias. Okay? AI outputs often present cultural assumptions from those who built and trained them as neutral facts. For example, if I am going to develop an AI machine today, first of all, I have a cultural background. I have a cultural life.
Yes.
But then what I'm developing is not just something that is going to be used in Zambia.
Yes.
Or by the people that I grew up with. No. It is something that is going to be used by everybody in the world. So at the time that I'm developing this, I'm going to be biased towards, my background. What I believe is the values exactly. What I believe is correct, what I believe is wrong. That is what is going to determine how I'm going to shape my AI machine. But then what I believe as true or as right and wrong may not necessarily be so elsewhere.
Yes.
Maybe what I believe is determined by my cultural upbringing. But then what about people that are in America who are going to use what I've developed? What about people in India who are going to use what I've developed? So there's this false objectivity. Like, I develop a machine giving an impression that it is objective, but then it is subjective.
Yes.
Why? Because it is developed by somebody, by me, who has grown up in this context. And so this context has determined also the texture of the machine that I've developed. Now, my context is different from the Indian context, from the American context, or the Western world context, or even West African context, and so on and so forth. So, I may present it to you. If you are coming from India, for example, you are coming from Bangladesh, okay, Asia.
Yes.
I may present that tool to you to say, use this tool. It is good for what you are doing, for the research that you are doing. So I present it to you as an objective tool, but then it is not objective at all. It is subjective. That is a risk in itself. You are going to use a tool that does not speak to your life. And so when you begin to consult it, it may give you answers that may be correct to me, the developer, but may not be correct or right to you as the person that has grown up in a different context. So that in itself becomes a risk for those that are using these AI. I don't know if this is making sense.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Because
also for our
It's like from what I'm understanding, there's no way, there are traditions, let's say in South Africa, that are different from some traditions that we have here in Zambia.
Exactly.
If we go to Morocco, it's a different concept there. We go to America, so how are you going to consolidate these 4 different backgrounds into one machine?
Exactly.
From my summary.
Exactly. No, you are very right.
Yes.
I think you are speaking on behalf of those that are
over grade 3.
No.
On behalf of grade 3. So of course
there's a third concept.
The
I almost forgot.
Yes.
So the third concept is the erosion of connection, and this is the Pope spends quite some time on this one. The erosion of connection.
Yes.
Okay. In brief, this is what it says: simulating human empathy may mislead less discerning users into artificial relationships. Okay, gradually weakening their desire to seek genuine human connections. For example, you are depressed. You are going through a situation.
A heartbreak.
A heartbreak. Or maybe in Congole. Nah, foolish.
Yes.
So you are depressed, and you are in your room, trying to think, how do I get out of this, and so on and so forth. Now, instead of you seeking human connection, you seek machine connection. Instead of you going out to meet a fellow human being to talk to them about your situation, so that they feel your pain, they empathize with you, and then they help you get through your situation. You go to an AI machine and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. I'm depressed. How do I pay back in Congole? How do I pay back? Get back lost lover, or move on. How do I do this thing? The machine is going to make you feel. The machine is going to make you feel it is with you. It is going to say, "Oh, so sorry about what you are going through." It will really sympathize with you. So sorry. Can I tell you a joke? So that what can I do? It will make. Now, when you get that kind of interaction with the machine, you're going to get the illusion that you have a connection with something that is feeling what you're feeling. But no, that is a machine. It is programmed to speak to you basing on what you feed it with. If you are feeding it a heartbreak, it is going to speak to you according to that.
What you're fed.
To what you're feeding it with. So that's just basically a machine. So the erosion of connection is where people begin to depend on machines instead of seeking human connection in order to get out of certain situations, depression or other things. A lot of people have lost connection with fellow human beings because they are getting satisfaction from their interaction from the machine, a robot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually saw a documentary not so long ago. I don't know in which state, but in America, where there's actually what they are calling a dating club. You go in this place, you pay your subscription, what you find are screens, and you actually choose an AI boyfriend or girlfriend of your choice with your preference, who you are talking to and interacting.
Yeah.
And not so long ago in China, they've actually advanced where they've created the body of a woman with actual features, and it's going to have a voice, it's going to be able to talk, and they are calling them as compassionate partners of some sort, you know, and it's so advanced such that you can program it.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
You can program it.
Yeah.
It will know your name. It will recognize when you enter. You can touch it. It goes further, you know, in two things that are extreme. That one wouldn't want to make mention. And you wonder. And one of the arguments is that no, this machine does not judge me, it understands me. You know, but then the Bible says we are created in the image and likeness of God. How can a machine have the likeness of God?
Those are very important moral questions. You know, how can a machine have the image of God? How can, and a lot of people are finding satisfaction in that actually, and in the process they are losing actual human connection. They can't come to you anymore because they have something at home that is making them feel they are connecting with a human being. But at the end of the day, it is just a machine, and it is disconnecting them from the rest of humanity, and therefore it is taking away something from their dignity. It is eroding their humanity, and that has to be audited. That has to be questioned. That is a risk in itself as well.
You know, and one of the interesting things, every time we go for Sunday Mass, in the Our Father, there's a part that says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And an important aspect is now with the age of AI, decisions without forgiveness.
Decisions without forgiveness. You know, an AI machine does not have the capacity to feel. It thinks as a machine. You know, I think I should have mentioned this at the beginning, that an AI is just a brain that imitates a human brain and can never be like a human brain. It can never surpass a human brain, but imitates a human brain. It will help you to make a decision quite right, but it does not have the capacity to think, to feel. If it makes a decision on your behalf, it doesn't have the capacity to know the impact of this decision either on yourself or on others.
Yes.
If I am, if you came for counseling to me, okay, and then you presented to me this complicated situation, and I don't know how to go about it. Like, I need time to think. I need time to. We need to have a number of sessions for me to work with you and
to understand.
Exactly. But then for me to avoid those number of sessions, I go to an AI machine. I'm like, hey, I have this situation.
What is this situation?
What can I do? What should I do? Definitely that machine is going to tell me something. But then, is what it is telling me the correct thing? What if I take that decision that the machine has made on my behalf and I bring it to you? Does that machine know the impact of that decision on you?
It does not.
It doesn't. The consequences, it doesn't. It is responding to me according to what I'm feeding it with. This is the situation. What should I do? Okay, this is what you're going to do. Tell him to go and eat chili every Sunday. But then does it know the health impact of eating chili every Sunday?
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. According to it, that is the solution. And that is where you see the limitedness of AI.
Yes.
But me as a human being, I'm able to think with you, to work with you, to feel your emotion. I'm able to even project. If I tell him he should go and do this, what is the consequence
of doing this?
This? If I project and I see that the consequence is going to be bad, I may rescind. I may say, no, don't do what I told you to do, because the consequence, because I have the capacity. My brain is given to me by God, and God helps me to look at this situation and even to look beyond. That is if I want to use my brain, because if I don't want, I may just the machine is going to think on my brain.
And this is where designing system accountability comes in. You know, the people behind, they need to be accountable to us as well. You know, I shared my recent experience where I was unable just to draft a one-page letter. You know, and I struggled, and this is something that would take me minutes. And I said, okay, I will put my phone away, no internet, just me, you know, and the laptop, and so that you just have that ability. So further, when we say designing system accountability, what is this encyclical letter trying to address, especially in these times that we're in?
The Pope in this encyclical is just basically raising moral questions directed towards those that develop AI systems. At the time that they are developing them, who is auditing them? Okay, who is checking what they are doing? Who is critiquing every stage of the development of these systems? The bottom line is, if I am a developer of an AI platform, I must be held accountable. I mean, if a machine gives me false information that has adverse repercussions, who is held accountable? As things are, it is very difficult for you even to know who is behind that machine. Whom do I follow? If you have to sue somebody, whom are you going to sue? You just say, it's the AI, it misled me. But then somebody has to be held accountable. But do we have the capacity to get behind the machine and begin to point out, to see, come and explain, how did this happen? As things are, we can't do that. At least the ordinary people can't do that. You have to be very sophisticated with computers for you to be able to get who is behind Chat GPT or Google Gemini or whatever else is there. Who is behind
they even
this?
have names.
There are a lot of robots. There are a lot of them out there. But who is behind this thing?
Very true. It feels like we need to have another session on this. It's funny how time has flown by, you know. But maybe as we try and conclude our concluding remarks, one important thing is maybe disarming artificial intelligence.
It's important for us to end with that concept. Disarming. You know, when somebody is armed, nakwataka kamuliro. Nakwataka kamuliro. So for you to not to let that person, you have to disarm them. You know, I think the police or those in the military are trained on how to disarm somebody, and it is that concept, disarming artificial intelligence. So what are we saying? We're saying artificial intelligence right now is armed with things, weapons.
That's true.
That we almost have no control over.
That's true.
There must be a process. The Pope is saying in this encyclical, there must be a process to disarm artificial intelligence. Any of those harmful elements that come with these machines, there must be a way to get rid of them in order to protect human dignity. Because as long as AI will come with everything that it is developed with, human dignity is going to be at stake. It is going to be there will be all those risks that we talked about and many others. So there must be a way to disarm. Let me just read something that as we conclude. To disarm technology does not mean rejecting progress. Okay, that has to be clear.
Powerful.
We're not saying this is evil, this is bad, let us get rid of it. No, it is progress. It is technological progress. So to disarm technology does not mean rejecting progress, but preventing it from dominating humanity. Remember the concept of the Tower of Babel, which is dominant. It is up there. It is going up, up, up. AI, as we have it now, is dominating humanity, and that is why it has to be disarmed in order that we bring the human brain up to where it is supposed to be, above artificial intelligence. Then the Pope continues and says, it means, okay, disarming AI means freeing tech or technology from the mentality of armed competition, military, economic, and cognitive, and opening it to the rich plurality of human cultures and ways of life. So here he's talking about the concept of rebuilding Jerusalem piece by piece, making every citizen, every human being a part of what is being developed.
Yes.
So you chop off those elements that dehumanize a human person. You bring this AI machine, AI tech, AI concept down to where the people are, so that they become part of it, part of its development, so that they even have the ability to critique it, to question it, to raise moral issues against it. And at the end of the day, should something go wrong, there must be a way to take somebody, to make somebody accountable. There must be a face behind AI to say, Iwe, Bwela, Karab, explain why this. There must be a face.
Thank you very much, Father. And interestingly enough, we never conclude, issues here, because there's always something that is happening. But for every person who has watched, simply what we're trying to say is that you are a human being before anything else. And there's something that you said that was very important. Maybe for me, my takeaway point is that AI does not override human intelligence. Yeah. It's actually human intelligence that feeds AI the information.
Exactly. Precisely.
And most importantly, the moral consciousness of the church and taking accountability.
Yeah.
So, Father Arthur Ntembla, it's always a blessing. And to all our viewers, our listeners, wherever you are watching this podcast from, please support the page and always know that this is the best Catholic podcast that we have. Father, any concluding remarks?
Don't be too dependent on AI, because it will dehumanize you without even you realizing it.
So thank you very much. Until next time.